William H.B., was at Carolina, well, it was South Carolina College then, and he wanted a horse for a weekend. One of the slaves took the horse to Columbia for the younger William Richardson to use. And evidently, the man, the slave, got ill. So another one was sent with money to be sure that he got medical care and got home. So these are people who had fairly high responsible positions, and they were recognized for that. One of William's sons, William Henry, and the reason the Henry was added was that the first son, who was named William, died in infancy. And so when they had another son, they still wanted to have him named William, so they added the Henry. And that started a line of 5 William Henrys. My younger brother having been the 5th. But anyway, William Henry became as interested in racing as his father. And he kept journals. An example, one being this one. It was of a horse named Sharp. And he frequently would do sketches of the horse. Kept account books. And these account books will say when Sharp was moved here for stud service, or where he was raced, and all of these sorts of things. Another image. This is one that William Henry did of Sharp with the jockey on him. By the late 1820s, James Burchell Richardson's health was deteriorating. His eyesight was poor, and Anne was increasingly doing his correspondence. Despite it all, he continued to have his strong political views. An 1830 letter mentions being averse to disunion or nullification and expresses concern about the possibility of a civil war. Many letters include instructions for his son William H.B., suggesting that he would take over the property management. Letters right to the end continue to express his interest in politics, and one mentions that he still had 4 horses in his stable. A letter written by William Sinkler's daughter mentions that William had been with James Burchell when he died. And this is, how many of you have been to the Richardson Cemetery? All right, this is James Burchell's tomb, and this is the wider cemetery. William Sinkler continued to race horses and pursue business interests until he died in 1853 in Utah. He was buried at the family cemetery near St. Stephen on what had been Old Santee, the plantation where his father lived. The grave was later moved to the St. Stephen's Church Cemetery. And the reason it's in this condition is that in the 1950s, vandals went well equipped. Keith, was it a dozer or a backhoe that they took in there? Backhoe. And dug graves up, hoping to find treasure. And one of our relatives paid to have these tombstones moved and restored. This one is embedded in concrete. Obviously, they didn't try to glue them that closely, but just to get them in position so that they could be read properly. This is a contemporary map, just to show you the area that we've been talking about. Utah Springs would have been right down here, and the Nelson's Ferry would run across what's Lake Marion and up to Santee National Wildlife Refuge. Pinewood is up here, just to give you a point. All the family homes are gone. Most of the Richardson homes succumbed to fire. Sinkler homes to the creation of Lake Marion, which doesn't show up very blue here, but you know it's there. When the lake rose in the early 1940s, and I personally remember this, it engulfed wide swaths of land on both sides of the Santee, becoming the largest lake in the state at 170 square miles. Likewise, the race courses, Charleston, Pineville, Manchester, and Belvedere, all gone. History. Most of this information is incorporated in this book that was published in June. There are a few of the charts that I have done more recently, but most of them are in the book. I had hoped that the press would come today and offer books for sale, but I don't know exactly what's going on, other than the fact that the book is currently being reprinted. I have order forms for those of you who are interested in reading the book. I will put some order forms on the table. I will also tell you, since most of us order books online these days, they can be ordered if you will just Google Richardson-Sinkler Connections. You don't even need the whole title. Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, Google, Amazon, even Target, all of them sell it online. And the prices, when I checked a couple of days ago, the best prices were from Target and Books A Million, I believe. They're a few dollars apart. I have 2 copies. If somebody really can't wait, I will sell those 2 copies for $35 each, which is my cost. But it has to be cash, because I'm not prepared to take the credit card. Anyway, are there questions that I might attempt to answer? Yes?
I'd like to say that the Elizabeth P. Richardson Manning chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution is our chapter here in Manning, and named for Elizabeth P. Richardson. And just so proud of her. One that had 6 descendants, 6 relatives who were governors.
Yeah, relationships, yes.
Right, and we're so proud of her. And we're proud about the Daughters of the American Revolution, too.
And thank you for bringing that to my attention, because it is nice to know that her name is honored that way.